No, but it's very interesting because, as some commentators this week have pointed out, those who are concerned about civil liberties, imagine their reaction if there were another 9/11 style attack, and what the American public would rise up to support in terms of quashing civil liberties. And you go back to the immediate aftermath of 9/11, and we did some checking about that. The Joint Inquiry into Intelligence Community Activities before and after the terrorist attacks of 9/11, December 2002. And this was one of the conclusions. Prior to 9/11, the intelligence community's ability to produce significant and timely signals intelligence on counterterrorism was limited by NSA's failure to address modern communications technology aggressively, continuing conflict between intelligence community agencies, and this is important, NSA's cautious approach to any collection of intelligence relating to activities in the United States, and insufficient collaboration between the NSA and FBI regarding potential terrorist attacks in the U.S. So the NSA, after 9/11, was criticized for being too cautious, which is why we got these programs in the first place. Isn't that true, Senator Chambliss?
Well, no question about it. I was very involved in the aftermath of September 11 as chairman of the House Intelligence Subcommittee on Terrorism and Homeland Security, and along with my colleague, Congresswoman Jane Harman from California, we did an investigation, and we found out exactly that NSA did not take advantage of the technology that is out there today, and had they done so, we'll never be able to say that we could have prevented 9/11 from happening, but certainly we weren't doing the things that we were capable of doing to try to make sure that these bad guys don't have all the tools, and that we utilize the tools that we have to figure out what they're doing, what they're planning, and that we're able to interrupt and disrupt them. And we've done that time and time again. I hope we're going to be able to give the American public more examples of those interruptions and disruptions over the next several days. But the fact is that we know we've done that as a result of utilizing these tools.
Is there one that comes to mind? Is there something that the public does not know yet that you can share that's actually been disruptive?
Well, the two that the NSA has talked about and that they've allowed us to talk about are the Nazi case that was generated out of the monitoring of phone calls under 702 initially, where we picked up on a phone call made from Pakistan into the United States, and then 215 was used after that to coordinate the ultimate monitoring and arrest of Nazi, who was headed to New York with backpacks loaded with bombs to blow up the New York subway system. The other incident that we've been able to talk about is the David Headley case, dual citizen, U.S. and Pakistani, who lived in Chicago, who was involved in the Mumbai bombings. And those two cases we did pick up information in those two cases with the use of 702 primarily, but particularly in the Nazi case, also there was coordinated use of 215.
Let me ask Senator Udall, for reaction to what I showed you about the prior criticism of the NSA being too cautious, which is what led to these programs.
David, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, and I talk to Coloradans who want to understand why we're literally collecting millions of phone call data on a daily basis. My friend Saxby points out how 702 helped us identify Zazi and Headley and the plots they were generating. It makes sense to me that then you go get a warrant from the FISA court to use those phone records, that so-called metadata, to then find out what that network is. And what I'm proposing is to limit that collection in a way that keeps faith with the Fourth Amendment. If you think about the Fourth Amendment, the king, when the founders wrote the Bill of Rights, could not only take your property and your treasure, but he could take your life and, maybe most precious of all, your liberty. I think we owe it to the American people to have a fulsome debate in the open about the extent of these programs. You have a law that's been interpreted secretly by a secret court that then issues secret orders to generate a secret program. I just don't think this is an American approach to a world in which we have great threats. And my number one goal is to protect the American people. But we can do it in a way that also respects our civil liberties.
All right,